Hey guys, me again. Now, as promised, the video I'm going to do on Fianna Fail. You might wonder why over the last couple of weeks Micheál Martin has been as quiet as he is over the whole fiasco with Fine Gael and the Orange Men, or Fine Gael and the RIC. The Orange Men will be another video. Fianna Fail have a somewhat checkered past as regards them and the Nazis, weirdly enough. So, although somewhat ridiculed by the German press during Hitler's reign, there was sympathy for what they were doing from De Valera. Now, just being that he noted comparisons between the Republican cause and the National Party of Germany. Both states were suffering supposedly from, on our end, from imposed conflict settlements. He compared the Versailles Treaty of 1919 to the Anglo-Irish Treaty of 1921. So in 1939, De Valera may not have agreed with the annexation of Czechoslovakia. But this was also the year he that Charles Bewley, he would be of the restaurant fame. I don't know if it's still open on Grafton Street, but he was an ambassador, so to speak, to Germany. And this dude had three great hates: the English, the Jews, and towards the end, De Valera. Now, I can probably see with the last one. In 1945, after the supposed suicide of Hitler, it's still pretty much questioned. De Valera sent messages of condolence to Germany. Also, in 1936, Ireland played Nazi Germany in a football match in Dalymount Park. There was also a meeting between De Valera and the Third Reich Minister to Ireland at the time on the 2nd of May 1945, and that left a bad taste in some people's mouth, so to speak. Internationally, I suppose with the Allies, it would have, because they didn't know what way Ireland were going. So as the war ended, it became abundantly clear that even though Ireland flaunted its neutrality where possible, De Valera was a Nazi sympathiser. Some of the worst killers in the war would live under assumed names as they fled from allies. Now, word got out around Europe. Really, all they had to do was make it to more or less the coast of France, and Ireland would do the rest to get them into the country. Supposedly, although they weren't looked after in the country, supposedly, they were let live out their lives. So, just one of a few Nazis that made it over. Otto Skorzenny. He was the most dangerous man in Europe. He was Hitler's henchman, Scarface they used to call him. He bought a farm in Kildare and lived out his life. Herman Gortz, he parachuted into Ballivor, County Meath. Now, that was a weird one. I think he ended up committing suicide in the end, but that was really because he was sent back to Germany. Andrea Artukovic, he lived in Ratgar. He was the Interior Minister in Croatia. He was responsible for 1 million deaths. He would eventually be sent back to Germany but that was only because he moved from Ireland to America while trying to make his way to South America, I believe. He lived in Rathgar. But like I said, if he had stayed in Ireland, he wouldn't have been sent back. No, he was brought up for war crimes, but I think he committed suicide in his cell as well. Celestine Lane lived in Coolock in Dublin and Oranmore in Galway. Leader of the Bezen Perot, that was a unit of the Waffen SS. Lived in poverty, so to speak, but again was able to live out their life and was actually visited by certain Nazi leaders after the war. Peter Menton. Now, Peter Menton owned Mahon Bridge House in, well, I think it was Mahon House actually in Waterford. He, in 1985, I believe, tried to get back into the country after going over and staying in Germany for a while. Michael Noonan at the time wrote a letter saying he was not allowed back into the country. He eventually sued the state for €600,000 or £600,000 at the time because of the disrepair that his manor fell into. But he there was issues there. Himself and his wife went over to get, I think, their son or their grandson released. I'm not sure. And Peter Bielenberg, I believe, he lived in Tullow in Carlow. Now, I don't know too much about him, but as regards what's on the list here, he would be of minor importance. But the first four definitely have their stories. Now, unlike Fine Gael, who could airbrush their past and could just omit O'Duffy and O'Higgins out of their history while leaving W.T. Cosgrave in, Fianna Fail could not do the same. They were stuck with Dev. They just had to live with it. So, as regards our other party, you now know that whatever sort of fascism was going on with with Fine Gael, Fianna Fail were a damn sight worse because they let war criminals into the country to live out their lives. They had no problem doing that. And this wasn't even to do with Operation Paperclip. This was an entity all in itself. So the next time a Fianna Fail man knocks on your door, ask him what his views are on being a Nazi sympathiser in a party that is effectively a Nazi sympathising party. So yeah, that's my little dive into Fianna Fail. I had to go through national papers to get this because this you couldn't track down this. A lot of it was wrote between 2007, maybe 2005 and 2012 mostly. I think the Irish Times had one column, I believe, in 2015. But they were my sources. You won't find anything official much online because they didn't keep much documentation. And it was also believed that Mengele, the doctor, passed through Ireland at one point. He lived here for 6 weeks before moving on. So we have had them all in, and it's Fianna Fail's decision, or was Fianna Fail's decision at the time, to bring them in. So that's me over and out, guys. Just thought I know you were expecting this video, and just drop your comments debates, whatever. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. It's me over and out. Thanks, guys.